Yoga for Runners. My name is Patricia Becker, and I am your yoga instructor, and I also used to run. I liked running on trails mostly, and I've also done a few of the triathlons. So I personally know how tight the quadriceps and the hamstrings can get and the hips can get. So I'm very happy to offer you a fabulous complement to your running, and it will be a yoga practice. And practice along with me. It's going to be about 28 minutes, and we're going to increase your mobility and your flexibility, your range of motion, and have you feel greater ease when you're running. And this practice can be done any time of the day. It can be done before you go run, or when you come home, or when you come back from a run. So if you've just come back or whatever, I'd like you to take off your runner shoes and free up your toes, free up your feet. And we're going to begin in a pose called Mountain Pose, Tadasana, and just maybe close your eyes for a few moments. And I'd like you to bring your awareness to your breath. And even please take your lips slightly apart so your jaw can soften. Take some deep, slow inhales and exhales. And slowly allow your eyes to open. And please lift up your toes. Lift up your toes and spread them as far apart as you can. And then spread your toes away from your shins and press them down. Now, lift your arches by taking the fronts of your feet to the backs of your feet and the backs of your feet to the fronts of your feet isometrically so your arches lift. You should feel your shins and bottom half of your legs energizing. And then press down and root down through the four corners of your feet. On each foot has a four corner, the mound of your big toe, the mound of your little toe, inside of your heel and the outside of your heel. And then lift up your toes again. Spread them way apart. Spread them, lift them, spread them. Sometimes that's a little interesting and tricky to do if you haven't done it before. And then stretch them as long as you can away from your shins and press them back down. And then lift your arches back up again. Lift your arches. And then press your foot down through the four corners. Feel your foot solid on your yoga mat or the earth. And then we're going to do a couple standing poses to balance out and create stability and strength. So please stand on your right leg. And I want you to pick up your left leg and hold on to your shin. Now you'll notice when you do this is the straight leg starts to jut forward. So I want you to press the right thigh back, hold on to your shin, lift it up. We're going to stretch out the hamstrings here as we do this nice balancing pose. And then take your hands underneath your hamstrings and stretch your leg long. You can always hold on or do modifications to any of these poses. And then again, take your right thigh back and scoop your left thigh under a little bit more. Stretch out through your toes. Keep your toes active. It energizes your shins all the way up to your knees. Okay. Stand firmly on your left leg. Imagine it like a tree root going down. And even lift up your kneecaps. Engage your quadricep muscles and pick your right leg up. Hold on to your shin. And then push your left thigh back, scoop your right thigh under. And then you can stay right here like this, or if you want to experiment, take your hands underneath your hamstrings. Press your hamstrings into your hands and your hands into your hamstrings, and stretch it out. And if you feel spunky, you can do some ankle circles out here. There we go. And then lower that leg down. And motion is the lotion. So we're going to do some nice hip circles, loosen up your hips. Take them in different directions. We get the synovial fluid in the joints moving, bringing oxygen into the hips in a different way than they're used to. We'll go both ways. And then we'll come back to standing. Stand on your left leg again, please. And take your right foot out, come up on your toes, and we're just going to do a nice, easy, I call this a sassy yoga pose. Just wiggle your knee and your hip side to side. And then again, your synovial fluids, energizing your knee, taking it in a different way. When you're running, it's like this. When you're swimming, your knee's like this. Most things we do, it's like this. So yoga really rotates and bends and forward folds and back forward, back bends. And so you really get a lot of different movement to energize your body and give you greater ease as you run. And then set the right foot down, take the left out, and side to side. And of course, you can do any of these poses longer if you want. You can pause the screen, and then do them longer. And then we'll come back down. Now we're going to do a standing thigh stretch. So stand on your right leg, lift up your kneecap, engage your quadricep muscles, and feel your right foot rooted down as you pick up your left foot. Pick up your left foot behind you. Press your hand in your foot in your hand. Press your tailbone down towards your heels and lift as tall as you can through the top of your head. If you want, you can take a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. Keep pressing your tailbone down towards your heel. And you want to make sure your thighs are parallel with each other. Yeah, that's where you get the quadricep stretch. And you can start taking your heel in to your outer hip if you'd like. Take it as deep as it feels good. Not too far, not too little, just right. And then we'll come down on this leg. Give it a little wiggle out. And then stand firmly on your left leg. Always take your time with these things. Connect with your breath. And then pick up your right foot. And make sure your thighs are parallel. Press your foot in your hand into your foot, and you feel a nice stretch on your quadricep muscle. And then take your heel into your outer hip as much as you want. Or you can just keep stretching it away. So we want to keep these quadriceps loose as well as strong. They get so tight when we run. And they say that we hold a lot of emotions in here, so it's really good to stretch them out. It feels good. It sort of gives you little endorphins, like running. Also the hamstrings. They want to be stretched out too instead of being tight. Because if they're tight, what happens is they start pulling on the lower back and creating back problems and hip problems. So please come to the top of your mat if you're on a yoga mat. And stand with your feet parallel. Spread your toes out. And we're going to do a nice hamstring stretch. First, I want you to inhale your arms up to the sky. Squeeze your belly muscles and stretch as tall as you can. Stretch up through your fingers even. Take your belly back. Stretch up from your belly up to the top of your body and from your belly down into the earth. And exhale, hinge at your hips and fold forward. Now your hamstrings are probably very tight, so you can get a block. Blocks are very handy, yoga blocks. You can put it on the low level, medium level, or the high level. If you don't have a block, that's fine. Just bend your knees and place your fingertips down on the earth. This will give you a rooting. And then little by little, you stretch your hamstrings wherever you are. Fingertips on the block, and you slowly, breath by breath, straighten your legs with the front part of your leg engaged. This protects your hamstrings to open. Little by little, they will open. You can touch your toes, no matter how old you are. You can start at 70. Enjoy the stretching. It's an adventure and it's a journey. really quite wonderful. Bring your hands to your hips. Please draw your shoulders on your back and then press down through your legs to come on up. Nice and easy. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Stretch way up. Exhale your hands down. And we're going to take another standing forward fold. Stretch out the backs of the hamstrings on the strength of the front of the legs. Inhale your arms up. And keep your neck nice and long, please, as you exhale and fold forward. And then bend your knees. Place your fingertips in line with your toe tips, and then please step your left leg back. We're going to do a really nice stretch for runners, or anybody, but this is especially good for runners. So sink your right hip down. You can even rest your chest on your thigh as you lift your left quadricep muscle up, left leg up. And then you extend the energy out through the left heel to the top of your head. And if you stay on your fingertips here like this, it gives you more space. Rather, if you sink down, you're sort of losing the opportunity to create space in your body. And you stay here for a few moments. And breathe. 2 or 3 breaths, maybe 5. And then when you're ready to change, you press into your right leg and step the left foot up. And we're just, for the fun of it, we're going to root down through our legs, swoop our arms back up to the sky. And then hinge at the hips and come down again. Now please take your right leg back and sink your left hip down. And you can rest your chest on your thigh and lift your right leg up as much as you can. And you keep repeating these things. Yoga's a lot of repeating. Keep stretching it out. Stretch out through your right heel and through the top of your head. And then press into your left foot to bring the right on up. And you can take a forward fold. You can just stay here. Or you can root down, swoop your arms up, and stretch way up from your heart up as you press down to your legs. And then we're going to hinge at the hips and come right back down. And we're going to step the left leg back again. Do this pose again. It feels so good. And you want to tack your right hip back, left hip forward. Sink your right hip down, lift your left leg up. Now you can stay right here doing this pose, or I'm going to give you an option to lower your left thigh down, drag your left knee towards the front, isometrically. You see how I did that? I'll show you again. I set my knee down and then I drag it isometrically towards the front. I'm going to take my hand off the mat or off, turn over your right thigh. You're twisting your spine. Reach the arm up to the sky, draw your shoulders back, and then I'm scooching my left hip forward a little bit more. Bend your left leg, reach around, up and back. Maybe there's a foot there for you. And again, press the foot away from you. Stretch it way out. Take your hand out and back and stretch. Now maybe some of you runners are more flexible in certain parts of your body. I'm sure you are. If you want, you can come down to your left forearm and take it deeper. So there's always different stops along the running trail where you can stop or keep going. Now we'll come back up. Hands down, leg down. And then we'll straighten the left leg, press into right foot, and bring the left foot up. And right leg back. And we're going to do that nice stretch in this high lunge. Settle the left hip down, lift the right thigh up. Push out through the right heel and through the top of your head. And even shrug your shoulders away from your ears. And then slowly lower your right knee down. And then slowly drag it to the front. Hand way off to the side. Turn over your left thigh, the inside of your left thigh. Stretch your left arm way up. And bend your right leg. Reach around. Maybe get a hold of your right foot with your left hand. Curl your heart, shoulder open. I'll stay up this time instead of coming down to my right forearm. And then slowly release. And now we're going to step ourselves back into downward facing dog. This is a great pose for runners. It stretches out everything, the upper body, which we don't often get when we're running. From the back of your heart, you press down through your arms, strengthen your arms, and then you're pressing your legs back. And you should feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings here. And then to take it a little bit deeper, please bend your knees about 8 to 10 inches. Take your sit bones apart here, if you can. Imagine it, and then little by little it starts to happen. You take your sit bones apart. And so you're giving your hamstrings a little rest. Now, keep your sit bones lifted up, and then press your thighs back. Press your inner thighs back. Press your outer thighs back. So now you're stretching out your hamstrings and your thighs, your quadricep muscles. And it's great to move from side to side. You might feel some cracking. I am hearing some cracking. Chiropractic adjustment for yourself. And then come to your knees. And it's good to take a child's pose. So we'll take our knees apart, take your big toes together, sit back on your hips, quadricep stretch. Oh yeah. You can take your knees together. Traditionally it's out, and then your belly can fall in between your legs. Of course, this is assuming everything's okay with your knees and other parts of your body. If you can't do this for some reason, you have knee issues, I'll show you the option. So with this child's pose, stretch out as long as you can through the top of through your arms, to the top of your head, as you press your hips back. You can use your hands here to press your hips back. And then if you'd like to take a little rest, press your forehead down on your mat. Pressing your forehead down calms the system when you root your forehead down on anything. So if this doesn't work for you because of knee issues, there's something we call puppy dog pose. Very similar. You keep stretching, and you go like this. And you stretch your hips back as far as you can comfortably go. And then come on up to seated. And we're going to do a little bit of core work. And this pose is called Navasana. It's also called boat pose. So we're going to put my feet right in front of the camera there. So here you can hold on to the backs of your hamstrings. Flare your toes and bring your feet like they're on a wall. And then you hold on here, lift your chest up and draw your shoulders back. So this is one option. Option 2 is you can straighten one leg, straighten the other. You can keep alternating. And then maybe you can straighten both legs. And then another option is you take your arms out. This is a lot of core work. You need core, but you're also drawing your heart and chest up, spreading your toes. And then we'll come down. Stretch your legs long. Root your thighs down and slide your hands down your legs to wherever you can go as long as your thighs are rooting down. So maybe you get a hold of your calves, your ankles, or your feet. This is a thigh rooting pose more than a stretching out over your legs. So if your thighs start to come up when you're here, you know you've gone to your edge. You just keep rooting your thighs down. And then slide your hands back up your legs. And we're going to do boat variation number 2. That's what I love about yoga. It's always different. It's very therapeutic too. You can heal things. And this yoga for runners can help heal injuries and prevent them. So here we are in our boat pose. Let's take the boat to the side. And then the other side. And the other side. So we're getting a little bit of a twisting boat. We're rowing the boat. People always like this in class. We get a little wind going. And then we'll stretch our legs out. Get your quadriceps back, and then again, slide your hands down your legs wherever you can go. And there's no end to the poses, so you can never get it wrong and you never get it done. Just want to enjoy the journey. So now we're going to do another nice stretch. And this is, we're going to use one block again. And you have 3 levels you can choose from: low, medium, or high. I'm going to do the medium level today. So we lie down, and you can get a block and put this block underneath your sacrum. It should feel really good and stable. Make sure it's under your sacrum, not your kidneys. And then stretch your legs long. This gets at those deep hip flexor muscles that are really deep and often hard to get to. And as runners, you really want to access those and free them up. So you can stretch long and stretch your arms overhead. This feels really, really, really good. And if you want, you can take it to the higher. We'll stay here for now. And then another nice core work is to bring your knees up. You can take your legs straight up like that. And you see the toes are always active because that activates your shins all the way up to your knees. And then we'll keep one leg up and take the left leg, the other leg, all the way down almost to the earth. Stretch it way out. And we'll take the other leg up. Stretch that leg long. Long, 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 and then scoop it up. Pretend like it's an ice cream scoop, scooping up your torso, scooping up your leg, rather than your leg lifting. We'll do it a few more times. And bend your knees, place your feet down. Lift your hips up and take your block to the side. Okay, and then roll over to your right side. Use your arms to lift you up to seated. And then come to your knees, please. We're going to do a pose that's actually called half Hanumanasana, or runner stretch. We talk about runner stretch in our yoga classes. So you come to your knees, and these blocks are very handy. Again, you can put them on high level, medium level, or low, depending upon your particular unique body. Please take your right leg out in front of you. And you have the blocks in your arms right underneath your shoulders. And then you press the right heel into the mat and drag it back isometrically, and you'll feel your hamstrings opening. And then you tack your right hip back and your left hip forward. And you spread your toes and then drag it back. And you take about 3 to 5 breaths here. And also you want to engage your kneecap, engage your quadricep muscles. This is an intense stretch. And so we want to be careful as we move to the second side. And take the left leg out. Be mindful as you go to the second side. Drag your left heel back, square your hips. Yeah. And then come to the other side. And I'm going to show you another variation that I really like on this runner stretch. So you're here in your runner stretch, dragging your heel back on your mat, then roll to the inside of your right heel. Roll your hip out, stretch out the inner leg. Oh, that feels so good. And then the outer leg. And then straight back through the middle before you come to your left leg. Straight back. Engage this. Roll to the inside. Oh, that feels so good to get your inner thigh muscles. Usually very tricky to get to. And then straight back through center. That's a really good exercise. Okay. And we'll put the blocks aside. And then I'd like you to lay down. And we're going to roll, give your back a massage. You can roll side to side. Actually, I'd like you to roll on your sacrum area. Big, broad circles. You can have your head down, or if you'd like, you can lift your head up, whichever you're in the mood for today. Make big, broad circles. You can even get to your outer hips. And then you could roll the other way, please. Happy baby. We'll do happy baby pose. Take your arms on the insides of your leg, get a hold of the outsides of your feet, and then roll around again. You'll get more into your upper back here. You can take one knee down to the earth, the other one down. If you have babies or you're around babies, if you take a look, they really do roll around like this, which means we really did roll around like this. Happy baby. And then you can, one more stretch, push your thighs away from you to elongate your lower back. Give traction in your lower back. And then roll to your right side. Keep your legs heavy as you use your arms to bring you back up to seated. And come back often and do this practice with me. And you'll find greater ease in your running. If you're a racer, your times could likely get faster. And from my heart to yours, happy trails and namaste.